Are you looking for a simple Nightmare Clan Boss team that does not require any shard pulling or speed tuning? Well, I got the team for you. What is going on, Raiders? Soda Dragon here, and today I'm bringing you an easy Nightmare Clan Boss team. Now, I know some of you beginners and even mid-game players are somewhat intimidated by those unkillable teams and all the speed tuning required. And yes, it is pretty intimidating. But I do have a guide on how to build a Bat Eater team. I will leave links in the description below if you have the required characters. And the Bat Eater team, unkillables, are absolutely great. They are worth the trouble. But let's say you just don't feel like it. You don't feel like speed tuning your whole team, and some of these team comps that you've seen for Clan Boss are just really complicated. Well, I have a simple team for you that can 2-key Nightmare. Very simple team. No speed tuning required and no shard pulling required either. So this team is a login champ only team, which is awesome because it is accessible, right? If you play long enough, you're gonna have all the champs. Now, this is not the best Nightmare Clan Boss team, by far, but you can 2-key Nightmare and you can get that ultimate chest, and now you can get that sacred shard or that legendary tome, all right? So it gives you access to that, login champs only. Now, if you get lucky with your shard pulls and pull great champs, that is Clan Boss champs, of course, sub them in. And I'll talk about some good subs to make. But even if you don't, 2-key Nightmare, you can get that ultimate chest. So absolutely awesome that really you do not have to go out of your way to build a good Clan Boss team. And like I mentioned, no speed tuning. And here is your team. Notice login champs only. So what kind of team is this? This is basically a speed team. We are trying to take as many turns as possible. That's it. Very simple. That's why I have high Katun in here. So how can you make this team better, or a team like this better? You just make each individual character faster. Okay, so you get better speed rolls on the gear. That's it. All we're trying to do is take turns as fast as possible. So this is not a counterattack team. It's not an unkillable team. It's not a reflect damage team like Brogni, anything like that. It's simple speed team. Go as fast as you can, take as many turns as you can until the Clan Boss eventually kills you off. So how does this team work? So firstly, we have Kael for his poisons. So definitely a poisoner is a great source of damage for the Clan Boss. So if you don't bring in Kael, bring in a poisoner, somebody. So Kael has nice strong version poisons on his A3, so really useful. We have Ninja coming in, exploding HP burn stacks. So normally HP burn is not a great source of damage for the Clan Boss because you can only have 1 stack at a time. So compare that to, let's say, poisons. You could have 10 stacks of poisons at once, but Ninja can explode HP burn stacks, which is awesome. So he is a great damage dealer for the Clan Boss. We have High Katun coming in with a nice speed or 19% in all battles for all allies. That's the same as a lot of legendaries, okay? Like Duchess Lilitu. We got this in a free login epic. Awesome. So we're gonna make use of that once again, trying to take as many turns as we can until the damage is just too much that the Clan Boss just kills us off. She has a nice increased turn meter and speed up buff strong version for the whole team. So really good kit. So we have Scyl the Drake. She's coming in with a passive heal, healing for everyone for 10% of their max health. For all of her turns, right, the start of each of her turns. Plus, that same passive puts up a speed up buff on a random ally at the start of her turn. So once again, we are just trying to make everybody go as fast as possible. And we have Grush. He's coming in with really strong continuous heals on his A3. And his A2 also does either decrease attack or decrease crit damage. So that's really good against this boss. So the chance element in this run is really whether or not Grush lands a lot of those decreased attacks or decreased crit damage. It's going to be either or. The A2 works either or. So if you get more of that decreased attack, chances are your run will last a lot longer. If you're unlucky and you get a lot of those decreased crit damage, then the run is going to be a lot shorter. So it's just up to chance. I would recommend to sub him in for somebody with a strong version attack down on their A1. So someone like Jareg would be perfect if you have him. Okay, but also Grush here has a leech on his A1, really good for keeping people alive. Alright guys, on to the gear stats and masteries of our characters, starting with Kael. So definitely, if you have Frozen Banshee, she is a much better option than Kael for the poisons. But Kael works good enough, alright? So how have we geared our Kael? So here we have him in a life steal and a perception set. So that life steal heals for 30% of damage dealt. Doesn't seem like that much until you pair it with War Master, which we'll talk about in a second, and that perception set plus 40 accuracy and plus speed 5%. So for Nightmare Clan Boss, we're looking at plus 200 accuracy. So for your characters that you want to land debuffs against the Clan Boss, try to shoot for plus 200 accuracy. On to his total stats. So here, I am at 43,000 health. I have the attack at 2,400. I have the defense at 2,100. Speed 166, a little slow, but we are getting those speed increase buffs. Crit rate 45% and crit damage 143%. Not a big deal because we're doing damage primarily from War Master procs and from debuffs. So those are not affected by crit rate and crit damage. So debuff resistance 156 and debuff accuracy 335, way above that 200 plus mark that we were trying to reach. Onto his masteries, I'm just going to highlight a few. So here we have Life Drinker. So when Kael is under 50% health, he will start to heal for 5% of damage dealt. This is on top of that lifesteal set healing that he is getting. And this all works together with this mastery War Master here. So we're doing damage based off enemy max HP, which is awesome because the more HP an enemy has, and the Clan Boss has a ton, the more damage we will do. And the more damage we will do, the more we will heal from our lifesteal set and the Life Drinker mastery. So Life Drinker plus Lifesteal plus War Master equals huge healing. So a great combo for the Clan Boss in particular, but for a lot of bosses in this game. So here for the support tree, we have Sniper, so we increase its chances of landing debuffs. Now there are certain ones this does not work with, but we do use this for those poisons. So the weak version poison on his A1 and the strong version poison on his A3, neither one have 100% chance to land. So Sniper is really good for increasing the chances of landing those poisons, which is why we're using Kael in the first place. And here Master Hexer increases the duration of those poisons. So we can extend those poisons from 2-turn poison to 3-turn poisons with this mastery. On to High Katun. So how have I geared her out? So I have her in 3 speed sets. So speed plus 12%. Remember the speed here, the bonus is calculated against the base speed of a character, not their total speed. So you see High Katun's base speed here is 104. So I'm getting 12% more based off that 104 number. But in general, a really good set to have, especially for your speed leads to make them fast. Now, do you need speed sets for this? No, you can use a fast lifesteal set if you want. So if you have good speed rolls on your lifesteal gear, it's totally fine to use that with this character. On to her total stats. So here I have her at 54,000 health. I have the attack at 2,000. I have the defense 2,500. I have the speed at 248, so she is the fastest character in this comp. I have the crit rate 44% and crit damage 113%. Remember, neither of those numbers need to be fast. We're not doing damage based off crit damage or crit rate, okay? We're doing damage based off War Master procs and debuffs. So none of your characters should have high crit rate or high crit damage. Put that all into defense or HP. You don't need it for this type of comp. It is an old school comp. Now, once you start talking bad eaters and things like that, yeah, you're gonna need crit rate, crit damage, but this is not that type of comp. We are doing our damage based off debuffs and those War Master procs. All right, so forget the crit damage, forget the crit rate. Everybody gets high defense, high HP. So debuff resistance 100 and debuff accuracy 160 low, but there are no debuffs that we can land from High Katun onto the Clan Boss anyway. Onto her masteries, I'm just gonna highlight a few. So on the offense tree, we're seeing the same thing with that Life Drinker and War Master combo. So Life Drinker is going to be her only source of self-healing. So really important to get this for the Clan Boss. Once again, in conjunction with War Master, Life Drinker works really well. So getting that bonus healing when the War Master procs, and she's under 50% health. So really good. So I have Lasting Gifts here. This is primarily for her increased speed buff that she puts on the whole team. So it's for 2 turns, and we can potentially extend it with Lasting Gifts to 3 turns. All right, guys, on to Grush. So how have I geared him? So here I have him in a lifesteal and a perception set. So lifesteal heals by 30% of damage dealt, and perception plus 40 accuracy, and speed plus 5%. So we do need that accuracy to land those debuffs, right? We have that decreased attack or decreased crit damage and that leech. So we're gonna need plus 200 accuracy. As I mentioned, that is what we're shooting for. Plus, with the lifesteal, we're getting those huge heals in conjunction with War Master. On to his total stats. So here I have him at 58,000 health. I have the attack at 1300, the defense at 3000, speed 95, crit rate 57%, and crit damage 135%. Now, I do think it's worth it to build your Grush, at least through substats with some crit rate, because he gets an additional continuous heal off his A3 if he does get a crit on anybody when he uses that A3. So it is worth it. I don't know if you should go all out necessarily, but if you have the substats for it, yeah, put some crit rate on Grush. Not really for the damage, but to get that extra continuous heal off his A3. So debuff resistance 154 and debuff accuracy 315, way above that 200 plus mark we're shooting for. On to his masteries, I'm just going to highlight a few. So here, down the offense tree, we're seeing the same thing as the other characters with that Life Drinker and War Master combo. So really good combo for keeping your characters alive, and War Master is just required on everybody. To do damage to the clan boss, really, every character should have War Master. So here we have lasting gifts. This is primarily for his A3, those continuous heals. Weak and strong version, we're going to potentially extend them one turn more, so really great. And here, Master Hexer, this is for his attack down, strong version, crit damage down, strong version on his A2, or his A1 leech. So for all of those, Master Hexer works. So we're extending that leech, we're extending that attack down, or the crit damage down. In particular, we really want to extend that attack damage down. Okay, that is the #1 debuff that we want on him to last in this fight. Leech is great and crit damage down is okay, but really we want that attack down debuff to be as long as possible on the clan boss. So instead of 2 turns with Master Hexer, it can potentially be 3 turns. Alright guys, on to Scyl the Drake. So how have I geared here? I have her in a Relentless set and an Immortal set. So that Relentless set, 18% chance to get an extra turn, and these can proc in a row, which is awesome. Because combined with her passive, she is healing everybody for 10% of the max health every time she takes a turn. If she takes 3 turns in a row, all of a sudden, everybody on the team has 30% of their max health back. So it's great, really good in conjunction with people like her and, for example, Doom Priest that heal off their passive as well. And that Immortal set gives us plus 15% HP and heals by 3% every turn. So a little bit of extra healing for Scyl herself. On to her total stats. So here I have her at 76,000 health. I have the attack at 1800. I have the defense at 2900. Speed 204. I have the crit rate 29%, crit damage 143%. The debuff resistance 237, and I have the debuff accuracy at 145. On to her masteries, I'm just going to highlight a few. So here down the offense tree, you do see that Life Drinker and War Master combo. So once again, War Master required on everybody, and why not put Life Drinker? Get that extra healing when that War Master procs. Big extra healing. So here on the support tree, now the left side of the support tree here is for increased healing. So if you have people like Scyl the Drakes or Doom Priest, people in particular that heal off their passive, this is really good. Now the right side of the tree here, this is more for increased accuracy. So we really don't need any accuracy for this because we're not landing any debuffs with Scyl on the clan boss. So that decreased speed that she has on her A1, it won't land against the clan boss. So really we're looking at the left side of the support tree here for increased healing. Plus we have Spirit Haste, really nice to get an increased speed bonus when someone dies, right? So she can take her turn faster and hopefully revive that person. And Sniper here, this is really for her A1, but not really relevant for the clan boss. Alright guys, on to Ninja. So how have I geared him? I have him in a Relentless set and a Perception set. So Relentless, 18% chance to get an extra turn. Really good because you're going to see those hail burns go off on the clan boss because he's getting extra turns and cooling down all of his skills. So this really increases the chances of getting those hail burns off, which is really his main damage dealing skill against the clan boss. And Perception because we do need accuracy to land those debuffs. So his A1 has a strong version decreased attack. We definitely want to land that against the clan boss. Plus he has those HP burns. So definitely we're going to need accuracy on Ninja. On to his total stats. So here I have him at 49,000 health. I have the attack at 2,700. The defense 2,300. His speed 212. I have the crit rate 29% and crit damage 139%. Now, Ninja can do damage. He is an attack-based champ, but we're not using him for the damage from his normal attacks. We're using him from the damage primarily from his hail burn, his A2, where he explodes those HP burns. So that is the damage that we're using him for, and that does not require crit rate or crit damage. We're going to use the space on his gear, so to speak, that could have been potentially used for crit rate and crit damage to be put into defense and HP. So we want to make him tanky. So we don't need the crit rate, crit damage. We want those tankiness stats. So debuff resistance here at 110, and we have debuff accuracy 333. On to his masteries. So down the offense tree, you see the same thing here with that Life Drinker War Master combo. So this is his only source of self-healing, all right? Now down the support tree, we do have lasting gifts to potentially extend his perfect veil on his A2 from 2 turns to 3 turns. Really good, so he's not targeted by the clan boss to be stunned. This is one of our main damage dealers. And for those AoEs with Perfect Veil reduces the damage you take from AoEs. So the longer we can keep that Perfect Veil up on Ninja, who's kind of squishy, the better. And here we have Master Hexer. This is primarily for his A1. He has a 2-turn strong version decrease defense, so we can extend that to 3 turns, and his HP burns on his A2, his hail burn. So he has stacks of 3 that he throws out. Now with this, it can potentially be stacks of 4. And yes, he will explode them instantly. So this is just more damage for Ninja for his A2. Alright guys, time for the run. So no special skill instructions to put in. Just start it and leave it on auto. There you guys go. With login champs only, you can 2-key Nightmare and start to get that Sacred Shard and Legendary Tome. Alright guys, that is it for today. So this video wasn't meant to be groundbreaking or anything like that, but it's meant to give you guys options. So if you have not been lucky with your shard pulls, don't worry. Play this game long enough and you will get all the champs that you have seen me just use. And you can use them too to 2-key Nightmare. So if you guys haven't yet, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.